Hello, everybody. Today we're going to start on a new Parshas Chukas. I'm going to catch up Parshas Korach another time. Mitzvah Shem. So Parshas Chukas was translated from the Yiddish, and it's from the talks of Shabbos Parshas Chukas, the 10th of Tammuz, 5751. It's again from these books here. And this I just realized that the one by Chukas, by Kor, was it Kor? No, by Shlach Lecha, it wasn't on the computer. But now if you go to the website, it starts. You can get this Sikha that I'm going over in English. That's on the computer. It's on the website livingmashiach.org, and you go to library and you'll see Bar Midbar, second part of Bar Midbar. Also, a very special thing you can do, I assume it's on the website too, or you can write into them, that you can write in for brachos to the Rebbe. They put in the Rebbe stender, and it's really, really special. It does something. I'm involved. I tell everybody it's the most amazing thing. One of the miracles of Mashiach, of the Gula, is that when we have water from the Rebbe we give out, and we see miracles, people coming, miracles upon miracles happening all the time with it. And you make as much as you want. And we also have this where they put people letters in the Rebbe Stender 77 where he prays. And it really works, those miracles. So just an amazing thing. It's the email address there, if you want to write there, is Moshiach 770 Bracha, BRACHAH, at gmail.com. It's an amazing thing. You should, and you can really just by 2 minutes save lives. I've done it many times, and there's a lot of miracles happening from it, from both things. And the result of this is really showing a Mashiach. Everybody can be a miracle worker. Everybody can simply, if he knows these two things, and uses them when he sees somebody's in trouble and needs help, and he asks the Rebbe for a bracha, he'll see miracles, and they'll see miracles. It happens. It's proven. It's been used for many, many years, about 30 years now, I think, since 1995 or something, almost 30 years, and miracles are happening. Doctors in Israel, I know of 3 doctors who recommend it. In Israel, 1 doctor in the United States says it's a miracle. It's a miracle. As a matter of give a story, and then we'll stop. This is like, Chukas also is like the idea is like just something unbelievable. You look. They take this cow, they take this, they take that. It just makes no sense. It's very unbelievable, but it does the most amazing thing. It makes a person who couldn't go in the base of Mikdash because he was impure, he had problems. And it turns him that he becomes pure and he can sit before Hashem. He can be a Kohen Gadol, he can sit before God himself on Yom Kippur. It's amazing stuff. If you start reading, go over the Chumash, it's just, and this is real. So this is also real. You have to realize this is the real, that we can go and do this stuff. So I have many stories. One that comes to mind is the person in the old Davidson. I lived in L.A. for many years. It's about maybe 4 years ago or something. I'm not too good with time. So I would give out little bottles of Rebbe water we're talking about. And, I just pass them out there and give them to people. Some people liked them, some people didn't. So one day he tells me a story what happened to him. He says, he ate something wrong. He had blood poisoning, and he was davening, and during the certain times in the middle of the prayer, you're supposed to stand up. He couldn't stand up. He barely made it for the main prayer, Shemona Esrei, but he couldn't. He was so weak. So he went by the sink, and he saw a little bottle of water. So I figure he'll take it, just a bottle of water. He looked; it was open, but it looked full. So he takes some of it, goes in his car. I don't know when. That's sometime after that. He didn't know what it was. Then he looked at the bottle later. It was Rebbe water. Within like 3-4 hours, all the symptoms went away. So we were discussing this in shul during Kiddush, and a friend of mine's a doctor over there, Michael Godes. So I asked him what was it. He said it was the Rebbe water. It's amazing stuff. So we have all these wonderful things that God gave us, and that all we have to do is know that we can use it, and we can change the world, and we'll be serving Hashem. So anyway, so today we're going to talk about the Parshas Chukas, which means it was on Shabbos and it was on the 10th day of the month. So number 1, today, as all the days of the year in the Jewish calendar are composed of 2 sets of counting, the days of the week and the days of the month. Today is the 7th day of the week, Yom HaShvi'i, the Holy Shabbos, and the 10th day of the month, Tammuz, of month of Tammuz. There are two sets of counting. There's the days of the week and the days of the month. Are calculated based on two different calculations which form the Torah calendar. The orbit of the sun, which is the days of the week, are based upon, and it was night, and it was day, one day, and so forth, and it repeats itself every week. And today is the first day of the week, the counting of Shabbos, and shall we say Sunday, Yom Rishon Shabbos, and then the orbit of the moon. Then the other way is counting how the moon goes, which the days of the moon are based upon. Okay, hold on, let's go. There are two sets. One is the orbit of the sun, which is the 7 days of the week. And the other one is the orbit of the moon, which the days of the month are based upon. Okay, because the first day, which day of the month is based on the moon. Just as regarding everything in the Torah and in Yiddishkeit, Judaism, or for tuition for everything happens in the world of what? I don't understand his English. 1 second, guys. Okay, so he says everything in the world have these fortified from everything that happens in the world, that these two sets of counting are not by chance, heaven forbid. Rather, they are intentional and precise, as set by Hashem, by God. They denote two orders of how God creates and conducts the world. And from every Jew whose daily contact is based on these two sets of counting, can and must be a lesson in godly service. So in other words, we have to learn what's it mean counting according to the sun, the days of the week, and counting by the moon. What's the difference? And also we're going to see also in the day. And so it's also interesting regarding today, that the 7th day of the week and the 10th day of the month, especially, that in the numbers is especially emphasized the difference between the days of the week and the days of the month, that this contains a lesson in service of Hashem. He says there, okay, what's it mean? Both from each of these numbers, 7 and 10 separately, so we have learned something from that, how to serve God. And for the two calculations which are not dependent on one another. These are like two ways, as well as each one is separate. It's a separate calculation, days of the week, days of the month, as well as from combining them as one, 17, putting them together so that there's one separate, being that they are together in one day, which this is by divine providence and precision. This shows that they have a connection between them to the extent that they become one thing, one day, which is compounded of two sets of counting 7 and 10. So the Rebbe is going to explain this. 7 basically goes up a level of how Hashem fills the world and Hashem made the world complete, and 10 goes a level that's beyond the world, and that's the why that we bring into the world. But this is later in the sequel we're going to go and explain this. But now the Rebbe is going to explain something that very few catch. I mean, I talked to many people. I'll go over it and I'll show it to you. Okay. And since this day is Shabbos of the Parshas Chukas, a day in the month of Tammuz, this shows that there is a connection to this parsha and this month, so something special. And also remember 7 and 10 has a special connection to this parsha this month, and also has a special connection, these two ways of counting, to the days that are blessed this Shabbos, that one, the 12th and 13th day of Tammuz, the holiday of redemption of my revered father-in-law, the Frierdiker Rebbe, in the year 5687. And also it says the 17th, let's see if he gives a date here. And also the 17th of Tammuz is coming Shabbos. That when the Rebbe said this, 17th was on Shabbos when it comes out. So this also was a special thing to do with it. It's a fast day, and we don't fast. And also, these things we ever talk, we'll connect all of these things. These points are very important, but it will explain with much more depth. That's the whole sequence based on it. Now, this is the most amazing thing. This is something that I didn't pick up for many years. Now, before I go into this, I've told the story many times, but the Rabbi Altein from Pittsburgh was no very special chassid of the Rebbe, one of the few. I heard he was one of the people who got Shalach Manas. One of his I didn't even know he was so special. I mean, such just a simple man, such a humble person. You wouldn't know. I mean, it doesn't. Very, very special person. It was at such a merit that I learned with him for a year. So, anyways. So one of his jobs is he used to translate. Can you imagine such a thing? When you understand what a Rebbe is, was an Admor is, which I have been getting more and understand because my mashpia is an Admor. It's amazing what they are. And you realize that Rebbe is totally beyond that. And you realize that one of his jobs was that the Rebbe gave him to translate into English different things in Chassidus. The Rebbe would review it. I don't know if he'd make points on it, but he would look it over, and then it would go to press and whatever was published, whatever English publication Chabad was using, which I don't know at that time. So he's teaching us, which if we learned the last sequel that I just gave out, Kupkas Nisim, which talked a lot about it, how 770 is that the third base of Mikdash is found in 770, and from there the third base of Mikdash is in 770, is going to go to the final of Rebbe, many different amazing things. And he was teaching us, and later, towards the end of the Tafshin and all, the Rebbe came out with a kuntras that entailed that and other things, amazing stuff. And he was teaching us this kuntras about how 770 is the base Mashiach, and Mashiach is there, and Mashiach is going to stand on the roof of 770. Amazing stuff. I also have it on my YouTube channel. Hopefully, we'll get it on other channels. So, totally amazing stuff. And he's telling us a story that he translated. That it's known that when they asked what's Lubavitch is where that for over 100 years many of the Lubavitch Rebbe's lived there. That's why it's become the most place where that represents Lubavitch. So it says what they would say where's Yerushalayim and where's the base of Mikdash. They said Lubavitch is Yerushalayim until you get all the levels till you get the Rebbe's room is Kodesh Kadoshim. So he translated this, Rabbi Altein, and he said the Rebbe took a big circle around this and said the world's not ready for this. The world is not ready to be able to receive such high levels of godliness. We're not to that level. And a year later, he said even much more than that. It was amazing. So here we're learning. So I always ask myself, so now I know basically that the later stuff the Rebbe says is totally a new Torah in sense, something that the world wasn't ready, but now they're ready. So no world, Mashiach's time. So here I am. So this is what we're going to show you. So the Rebbe's talking about this Parshas Chukas, about how it's a special relevance, and the avoda from counting like the days of the week, and the avoda from counting the days of the month has a special relevance to all these different levels. And then he says, and also mainly, so what's the main thing, relevance of everything, these services of Hashem, is a connection to the true and complete redemption. Then the Rebbe repeats this, which is not done. And in the language, that's very, he says, in Hebrew, it says, the Yiddish says, "Un'alken beikar ashaykus der gula mitzvah v'shleima der inyan hachi ikra shezman grama." Coming prat berachon says, and he repeats that. Not only it's the main thing, but the most important, timely thing, as spoken many times, especially recently. This means, what's it mean? Hachi ikra shezman grama. We're in Israel, Baruch Hashem, and sometimes they have these missiles coming around. So, we're supposed to, right away, when the missile's coming around, you go run into your protected room, your mechlad, your bomb shelter. And you run right away, That's what's important. That's something, the essential thing to do now. So this is the same thing for us. The same thing for us is to learn about the Gula Mita V'Shlema. So I'm sitting here, when I was looking at this, I says, well, where's the Rebbe? The Rebbe is so much involved in Yud Aleph, 11. 11 is above the level of 10. It's a little beyond everything. So here you had 7 and 10 words Yud Aleph. So you look down, and the Rebbe says in footnote Yud Aleph, he says from the Sichos up to the Sichos on 28th of Nisan, and the Sichos and the Farbrengens after that. So in other words, the Rebbe is telling specifically where we have to live, where our brain has to be. This is if you live here and your brain is in here, and this is how you live and how you think and how you conduct your life from the Torah that I'm giving you, from the Chuf Ches Nisan on, then that's what you have to do. That's the most essential thing. And by doing this, you help bring the Gula Shlema, and you understand things, and you live a better life. I've had many people, I've turned people around teaching this to them. Some people were very depressed. One, my Chavrus, I didn't know, he was like in bed, depressed, and a lot of kids, no money, very difficult time. And he learned, and he just totally turned himself around. I've had other people, my friends of mine, they tell me, when I talk to them, they said, when I do learn this in the morning for half an hour, I feel so much better. This is very, very special stuff. So, but the interesting thing is that nobody picks this up. I mean, even I'm listening to a guy translating it, he just translates it, just read. And also the main in connection with the true and complete redemption, the most important and timely matter I've spoken many times, especially recently, doesn't stop and say, wow, this is like something special. What's the Rebbe telling me? He's telling me what I'm supposed to do with my life, and where he's telling me what to look and what to learn. And by me getting involved in this is what I have to do. And it's amazing stuff. Okay, so now we're on base. So it says the general difference between the days of the month and the days of the week is that the 7 days of the week are not dependent on the action of man. Rather, they are set apart from above, from the order of the work of creation Hashem created, 7 days of the week. That through the fact that it was nightfall and morning, that through the orbit of the sun automatically a day goes by, and after that the cycle of 6 days go automatically, and the 7th day arrives along with the holiness of Shabbos, as the words of our sages says regarding the holiness of the Shabbos, that Shabbos was sanctified and remained sanctified from the 6 days of creation. That Shabbos, it's always holy. The 7th day, no matter what happens, that's what it is. It's a holy day. It's always the holy day. Whereas the days of the month depend upon the pronouncing of the court, the Jewish people make the times holy. The Jewish people make Rosh Chodesh, the new month, holy, and therefore we say, who sanctifies the Jewish people and the times, that we must mention the holiness of Jewish people before the times of the holiness, before the times of holiness. But the Rebbe is saying here is that we see that how do we get a new moon? The Jews would go and they would witness the coming of the new moon in the sky, and they would run to Yerushalayim into the holy court, and they would give toastim when they saw this, and then the court would hear this, and then they say, now we're saying this is Rosh Chodesh. This is the beginning of the new month. And from then on, that's how they did it. So it was all based from below. And the Jews had to do something. And it could happen, could be, Rosh Chodesh could be 30 days or 29 days. So that's what we're talking about. It says, so therefore, it says, let's go over. So he's talking about the Jewish people make times holy also. That we see that when we make a blessing, like on Rosh Chodesh or in Shemon Esrei, we talk about Yisrael, Hazmanim. I'm talking about Yisrael and the holidays, because Yisrael is first. We do it. That's why it says the Jewish people make Rosh Chodesh, the new month, holy. And therefore we say, who sanctifies the Jewish people and times. That Hashem sanctified us and the times. That we must mention the holiness of Jewish people before the times, holiness. Since through the holiness of Jewish people, the times are sanctified. For if the Jewish people were not sanctified, then they would not be setting of the months. For if the Jewish people were not sanctified, I guess we weren't holy, they would not be a setting of the months and the clearing of the calendar layout for the holidays in the court. In other words, I don't like the translation. Let's see what he says over here. First you have to have the Jews, Israel, Niskatchev saying that through the holiness of Jews they become holy. Below Niskatchev Yisrael, but the Jews didn't make the month holy, sanctified the month. Lo hayukupum kadashim mekarim moedim. That basically would not be able to set up the months and the times, and we wouldn't have holidays. There'd be nothing left because the Jews have to set up the months of the days of the month. It's talking about the specialness of the level of 10 of the Jews. And this is simply seen that the 7 days of creation and the Shabbos day exists immediately at the beginning of creation, as related in the beginning of the Torah, whereas the sanctifying of the moons, this month shall be for you, is a mitzvah that was commanded to the Jewish people, that the first month that the Jewish people were commanded to do it only upon leaving Egypt. And it is explained in many places that this is the beginning of the service of the Jewish people of the Torah and Mitzvahs, which transcends the creation. So in other words, evidently we didn't have months. We didn't have real months before this. So the Jewish people, Hashem told us to sanctify the first month. And so when we sanctify this first month, that this is also explained in many places that this is the first mitzvah the Jews have. And so therefore, by sanctifying, it says, make holy above the world. So this the service of the Jews is beginning the service of the Jews. God told us this first mitzvah, you have to sanctify the month. That's the first of the mitzvahs. It's the beginning of the Jews doing bringing down godliness from above into the world. From the perspective of the spiritual realms, the days of the week denotes the order of the creation as it was created in complete state by Hashem, by God. The world was created in a complete state. That's what it explains. This is a pasuk, I guess. Explains the Bereshis Rabbah. This is a quote. As the verse says, this is the account of the heavens and the earth when they were created. So, what it is, Olam, Amim, no. But Elo told us, Hashmai Ba'aretz V'Yibarim. Told us Malchus, and when it says told us the generations of the heavens and the earth, there's different ways to write the word told us in Hebrew. So here, told us is written in a complete matter. In other words, it has both vubs in it. Sometimes you write it different, not that way. But this is full. Why? So why is it full? Okay, so that the day, so it's told as written with complete vav. This has, okay, let's go over that. From the perspective of the spiritual realm, the days of the week donate the order of the creation as it was created in a complete state by Hashem, by God. The world was created in a complete state. As the verse says, this is the told us the account of the heavens and the earth when they were created. The word told us is written out in a complete way. The days of the month denote the addition and innovation, the newness. Chodesh, month, kid is an idiom from Kiddush, innovation, new things, which this is accomplished. How does this happen? In the creation through the service of man. We make something that God didn't make when he made the world. And that we're God's helpers. As the words of our sages says on the verse, and Hashem created, that Hashem created to be done. What does it say? To fix. What's it mean? To the extent that we accomplish an innovation and perfection in the entire creation, even in comparison to the perfection of the creation has on its own. In other words, we are bringing in the world a new thing that was never there before. At such a level, it says, Shemaim Kadash V'Aretz Kadash, there'll be a new earth and a new heaven. Sometimes the Mashiach, there's going to be a new Torah. It's not when it was given to Moshe Sinai, but it was so hidden that's like a new Torah. It's taken from that we're not able to reveal. Like it explains that the most things that were revealed up to now were the secrets that were there, but they had to bring them out. But there's two levels in bringing something out. One level is that it brings that you have these coals that die down. So the fire's there, so you fan it and you cut the fire up. That's called a helm shel H. One would see it's a hiddenness has an existence there. But there's a helm she'eno shel mitzias, but there's a helm that doesn't have any existence. What's that mean? It means like a flint stone. The stone has in it a flint. You make a spark, but there's no fire in it. So this is like similar. Like the new Torah is like the flintstone. It's like it's there and it's given by Mashiach, but it's so hidden. And then when it's revealed, the world will be new. There'll be new heavens and new earths. So this is Rebbe. It's an amazing thing. So that's what we're here. We're here to make the world into beyond amazement. Thus, as Ved Zayin B'Blis will be in the true and complete redemption, then it will be said when it says El Otodos Peretz, B'Yishai Holed Es David. So it talks about there. These are the generation of parrots, and it says that Yishai gave birth to David. So it's bringing down over here that Mashiach comes from this level. Tolos Mali, Hecha from Tolos Mali by Bris Oliver. It says, Isaac says this, he says over here that what's it mean? That the Tolos is written above, and above and beyond the completeness of the Tolos at the creation of the heavens and the earth. Let's see what he says in 28 over here. He doesn't explain it. So in other words, it's even a higher level that there's levels of, remember we said that told us before was written in a complete way with both bubs, the creation of the world. Hashem made the world complete. Now we say that these are the generations that told us a parrot, which he comes from, which is David and Mel came from that, which Mashiach comes from that, which talks about us, and we're all tied into Mashiach, that this told us is written, it's even a higher level. It's a higher level than that told us that these are that told us that we're from Hashem created the world, because it's a higher level that goes into Mashiach. And in the source of the matters, the difference comes from the two levels of godliness, which is on a relative level to that of the world, which invests itself in creation. And so that's one level. There's one level, as he says in Hebrew. Let's say, boom, 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 boom. One level is in Georgia, and in the namesake from Melchelik, from the Tzvai, Dargas, and Elokus. They take from two levels in Elokus. Elokus versus the Eriksu de Bria. Godliness, which has a relevance to the comparison to the Bria that's involved with the creation. Tutzach on their Bria Shvu, and it makes the Shvia, that's like the week. Or they have Elokus, but you have godliness, divinity, which is Echa from the Bria, Kodesh. That you have a level of godliness that's totally beyond everything. Okay. So there we have these two levels. We have one level is like the 7 days of work. This will have God comes into the creation. And there's another level that's beyond creation, that transcends creation, that's beyond being able to be contained and seen in the current creation. It's a higher level. 3. So the Rebbe says, well, Yesh name where the Rebbe is saying something new, Achidish. This is amazing. Melech Mashiach, the Rebbe Melech Mashiach is telling us something new that nobody ever said before. This is a new concept. This is a Chiddush of the new Torah. And we may say that this is expressed, especially in the difference between the 7th day of the week and the 10th day of the month, the two sets of the counting of these 2 days. 7 denotes the complete cycle of the creation, the 7 days of creation. We're starting on number 3, I'm sorry. We just started on paragraph 3. And we may say that this is expressed especially in the difference between the 7th day of the week and the 10th day of the month, and the 2 sets of the counting of this day. Okay, 7 denotes the complete cycle of creation, the 7 days of creation, the 7-day cycle, at their source, the 7 attributes of Hashem, with which the world is created. The 7 days, the first day of the week, Chesed, kindness, the 2nd day, Rig, Gevurah, severity, until the 7th day of the week, Malchus, kingdomship. The level of godliness which creates and invests itself in the world. So it's all talking about Hashem comes into the world. That's 7. 10 is connected also with the level of godliness which transcends the world, which is beyond the world. The 10 spheres, which include the 10 spheres, 7 of them in the world, but the other 3, which include the 3 faculties of intellect. which the seichel, which transcends being, it's a source for the world, being a source for the world. These are beyond the world. Okay, so it says the connection also to the level of the godliness which transcends the world. 10 is connected to that. You have the 10 spheres, which include the 3 faculties of intellect, the Chabad, which transcends being a source for the world. So they're beyond the world, they're source, they're not involved. That the relevance of the level of the 10, godliness, which transcends the world, is accomplished through the service of man who adds and innovates to the creation that was created with the 7 attributes. And we had used the 10 spheres, which include the spheres of wisdom, the intellect, the spheres, and this is a level that's above the world, that brings into the world, that this is to accomplish through man who adds and innovates, brings the chiddush to the creation that was created with the 7 attributes. That the drawing forth of the 3 faculties of intellect, Chabad, the seichel, let me translate this over here. Oh, Gimel Mochin. Okay. Now he says, for the Gimel, 3 faculties of the brain, of the intellect, as such, the perfection of the revelation of 10 is brought about, in addition to the revelation of the level of 7, the attributes in the creation, also the revelation of the 3 faculties of the intellect. So in other words, what's brought about through this, go through this again, let's go through this in here, is also we see the revelation of the level of 10. Godliness is beyond the world. But it says, that it will done, that this will be done through man's service, that we do this. Where you add and you make new, you create new concepts, new things from the creation of the world that was created with the 7 attributes. You have the hamshacha, the drawing down also from the 3 mochin, the gimel, the 3 parts of the intellect of the brain, that there will be, and from here you have the complete revelation of 10. Nosef are the gile from this revelation of the 10 spheros, I guess including all the spheros, which is above the meters that come into the world. I think that's what Rebbe's saying. Is Nosef that you add the revelation from the level on the level of 7, the 7 meters, which is in the Bria. God created the world, the 7 attributes. And the gile from the Gimel Molkins. After gile from God, so you add to this that you also have the revelation that's beyond the world of the 3 Molkins. So and in the service of man regarding the verse, do not distraught Moav. It says we shouldn't go against Moav, as explained in Hasidic teachings, that in the present time, the Jewish people were only given the 7 lands, since the main service of the present time is to refine the 7 attributes, and the service is with the 3 intellect is in order to affect the attributes. The Rebbe's explaining over here that in times now we're still refining the world. We're not going from beyond the world and bringing down as much as we're refining the world. And even our intellect, which is above the world, is used to direct and control our attributes, how we should react and refine the world. That's why that's the main thing. And even the intellect is involved in going down to help me how I should do what I should do. How I should conduct myself with kindness and severity, how I should do. But times of Mashiach, there's going to be that what I do is going to be all good. All my attributes, I'm just godly. So what's going to be with these attributes, the attribute of the intellect, the understanding, knowledge, that these attributes of the intellect, we're going to be able to understand godliness. We're just going to get, it's like sitting there and just thinking about God, just being one with God. That's the attributes that there's going to be, that it itself. I know that you should. I don't know much about, secular stuff. I mean, I've learned a little bit. But I know that in science, for instance, they have what's known as practical math, and they have what's it called? Pure math, I think. So pure math is just things that they're just doing equations, trying to feed things up. It has nothing to do with the world. Practical math is something how to figure out how to do things down here using the math. I don't know if it's a good example, but in times of Mashiach, we're just going to be thinking about God. Everything we do, our attributes is already fine. We don't have to worry. We're all good, holy, special. And we're just using our intellect just to go higher and higher. One is the level of the intellect as you're thinking, and you get more deep into Hashem, into higher and higher levels. And there's another level is that you think, and by your thinking, you bring it down, and you act like a real mensch, and you know what to do. So it says in times of Mashiach, we're all going to be real mensch, and we all know what to do. It's not going to be a problem. So we're just going to want to get more into God. So anyways, let's go and see how the Rebbe brings us out inside. So there you have the three actors in order to affect that. Okay. Since the main service in the present time is to refine the 7 attributes, that the service with the 3 faculties of intellect is in order to affect the attributes. However, in the true and complete redemption, we will be given all the 10 lands. There will be also the lands of Keni, Kenizi, and Kadmuni. That since then the service of Hashem will be truly complete, and there will be the service with the 3 faculties also for itself, including the completeness that these are the toldos of appearance, which transcends these are the toldos of the heavens and the earth when they were created. So this will be such a level that will just be into godliness, into just with everything, and that we'll be totally godly people. Okay, now we're on number 4. Let's see what time we got. One more. We're the wrong way. At least one. Okay, now we're on number 4. The ability to accomplish these 2 aspects of 7 and 10 is connected to the fact that in creation itself there are 2 levels. There was, I always talk to people about spiritual experience. Not always. I used to much more. I have to start up again. But I would talk to people. I had a lot of interesting spiritual experiences, but I talked to people. So this is probably about, 20 years ago, a good time ago. I was in L.A., and there was a young man, 1920, Persian. His father was, I think, sold drugs or something in Manhattan. He came to L.A. to try and change his life. So I was asking him, I said, did you ever have a spiritual experience? So he told me that he was once by the Yam HaMelech, and he realized he was a Jew. I didn't really understand how great that was. And then I thought, wow, a Jew was something special. He realized who he was. So that was pretty amazing to me. So many years later, I was talking to him. I said, so what happened? He said, I was never afraid again. In other words, he knew God was always with him. He was one with Hashem. So this is a similar thing. He attached himself to a level beyond everything. So this the Rebbe saying we have to bring these type of levels into the world. Then the ability to accomplish these 2 aspects of 7 and 10 is connected to the fact that in the creation itself there are these 2 levels. So how can we do it? It's impossible. But in creation we have these. In the written Torah, it says the world was created in 7 days. And Hashem ended his work on the 7th day. In the oral Torah, the orals was given with his explanation that it says that in today's chapter, he's talking about the Pirkei Avos, that the world was created with 10 utterances. So one says the world was created in 7 days, and the other one says in the written Torah and the oral Torah there are 10 utterances. And we may say the Rebbe is saying something, he's learning something new from this, that this correlates to the fact of the differences between the written Torah and the oral Torah is similarly the difference between 7 and 10. So now we're going to have to understand what 7 is and 10 is, and we'll understand the difference between the written Torah and the oral Torah. So the written Torah, so now there's the 5 books of Moses and the Kesuvim, the prophets, that's called the written Torah. All the other explanations, the Gemara, Chassidus, is all a part of the oral Torah. The written Torah was given directly from above, from heaven, and it was not possible for a person to add to it. Heaven forbid. From the perspective of the level of drawing forth of godliness from above, the written Torah, the completeness of the creation, is in a matter of 7. So here how God brought down is a matter of 7. And this gives the power for the service of refining the different attributes, the revelation of God within, and on a level similar to that of the confines of the world. So the Rebbe is saying that the written Torah made the world and brought down godliness and created the world. How beautiful the world is. You go outside, you see the beauty of the world. Go for a walk in the woods or whatever and see beauty. You walk by and you see the beauty of the world. Our God created this beauty. And this is like more like the Torah, bringing all godliness down into the world. Okay. Now, on the other hand, the oral Torah, for the most part, was revealed by the Jewish sages' own work and efforts, through analyzing, discussing throughout the generations, and they learned based on their understanding, using one of the methods which the Torah is expounded upon. We say this every morning. I have 13 methods. They made it as a safeguard, so not to transgress the Torah. In other words, okay. Then based on the oral Torah, for the most part, was revealed by the Jewish sages' own work and efforts, to the analyzing and discussing throughout the generations that they learned based on their understanding, using one of the methods with which the Torah is expounded, or that they made it as a safeguard so as not to transgress the Torah. So one thing they learned what the law is, what to do. Another thing they would make, that they say, okay, this is the law, but we want to make sure we have to make a fence around it. We have to make a guarding around it so nobody makes a mistake. So that's also in the Torah. Which through the many laws and details of the 613 commandments are brought to light, that they were given by Hashem, however, hidden in such that only the sages will have the merit to reveal them. So there are special things that are hidden, and Hashem gave it to the Rabbanim, the sages of our generation, that through learning and studying and understand things, that we're all sages in our generation nowadays. We all learn, have special minds, the Rebbe talks about, that we can reveal new things, and that wasn't revealed for him. We have a special merit in this. And through that, so that's the Rebbe talks about many times, that you're supposed to make chidushim, new concepts. They have to be based on Torah and Mitzvah. So. And therefore, there is an emphasis on the fact that the world was created with 10 utterances. Why? From the perspective of the service of below in the oral Torah. And in the world, we see in the creation the aspect of 10. So that's 10 utterances of the world we created for has to do with the giving of the oral Torah. And this gives the power of this service to be done on one's own, lasos, to be fixed. It says Hashem created the world lasos, lasos, to fix, to make an addition and an innovation in creation. It's an amazing thing. You walk out, you see the beautiful thing. People just think that's nature is it. But we can add to it. We can make it that is more beautiful. We can make a level that's beyond that. And that's our job. That's like the base of Mikdash. Sometimes you look at something, it shines beyond beauty. It's like godly. And that's what we can do. That's what the whole world's going to look like. It says that the whole world's going to be new heavens and new earth. The whole world's just going to be godly and reveal godliness. So, and this gives the power of the service to be done on one's own, lasos, to be fixed, to make an addition and an innovation, integration, and the revelation. Make an addition and an innovation in creation. We make the creation better. The revelation, the aspect of 10, at the height perfection through the service in this and the world, including the perfection of these are the total appearance and innovation in creation. Wow, so this is what we can. So the Rebbe, everything is talking about. So a lot of times you learn Dvar Malchus Rebbe, this is a thread that goes through it. But each one is explaining different levels in different ways. And the fact, Rebbe, if you learn it, you'll finally start to sink in, so to speak, because it's like describing things. He's talking about the difference between Malchus, the difference between the wisdom, Chachma, and Bina, and understanding. It says somebody who has Chachma. Chachma is like the first amazing thing, the flash of wisdom, the flashing thing. So a guy walks by this building, and the building just shines. It's magnificent. It's something like unbelievable. Everybody looks at it. It's magnificent. But he couldn't explain that to anybody else. Another guy walks by, and he sees it's magnificent. But he understands why, because it's made from this, it's made with this color, this. And he could go and take and explain that to somebody else and bring it down. So that's it. So that we this is the concept, this is the service that we have to bring down this level of godliness and reveal it, that it becomes down into the world, and that it be given over to everybody else. So that we reach this more special level. Anyways, I goes on to everybody. Start up again soon. This is Baruch Hashem. We went through 5 or 4. We went through 4. We're going to start at 5 right away. Zai goes on. Bye.